It was Sunday 10:04 p.m. when my phone lit up with Rachel's message, "Lisa, I want that report on my desk first thing tomorrow. No excuses." I stared at the screen, the words blurring. 3 weeks into my new job at Rent Tech, and the cracks were already showing. After my husband, Tom, and I were laid off last year, I'd been desperate for a lifeline. Rent Tech, a mid-level project liaison role, was a step down from my previous career, but with mounting bills and lingering medical debts from my father-in-law's passing, I couldn't afford pride. Brian, the hiring manager, had seemed kind, the team welcoming. It felt like a fresh start, until Rachel. Officially, I bridged Brian's strategy group and Rachel's product division. Unofficially, I was her target. Her demands came at all hours: 9 p.m. emails, 7 a.m. weekend calls, canceled time off, rewritten reports to match her tone. Worse were her words, sharp and personal: "You should dress for your body type. You're sharp, for someone without a tech degree. Brian must have hired you out of pity." I pushed back, politely at first, but that only fueled her. Every assertion met passive-aggressive jabs or outright insults. I stayed for the mortgage, for stability, but each day chipped away at me. The breaking point came on a Friday. I'd just let a team sink, scheduling a follow-up without including one of Rachel's junior analysts, an honest oversight. Rachel stormed into the open office, voice slicing through the hum of keyboards. "Do you even know what you're doing, Lisa? Who let you run meetings unsupervised? You're an unqualified mess." Heads turned. My hands shook, heat rising in my chest. I didn't cry. I walked to Brian's office, shut the door, and said, "I can't do this anymore." He sighed, eyes heavy. "You're not the first. She's lost 4 people in 6 months. I hoped you'd be different." By evening, I was reassigned to his team, free from Rachel's supervision. Relief flooded me, I could breathe again. But Monday, an email arrived from her, subject, urgent. A list of tasks, as if nothing had changed. I didn't respond. Wednesday, she appeared at my desk, hissing, "Ignoring me now? Is that how you operate, play victim, then act too good for the job?" My new team froze. Brian stepped in, "Rachel, that's enough." Her face paled, but the damage lingered. She kept emailing, circling like a predator. I realized then, this wouldn't stop unless I made it. 2 weeks after Rachel's desk-side ambush, I sat at my kitchen table, the house quiet except for the hum of the fridge. Tom was at his new job, barely covering half our bills. Savings were thin, 2 months, maybe, if we skipped everything non-essential. Rachel's emails kept coming, each one a needle. "Lisa, I need this by end of day. Follow up on this ASAP." I was done. I opened a blank document and typed my resignation letter, simple, professional, final. But I didn't stop there. I created a second file, 3 pages long, titled Documentation of Workplace Harassment. Every incident went in, dated, sourced, precise. February 3, 9:17 p.m., Rachel emailed, "Redo the deck." "It's embarrassing." February 10, 2:34 p.m., Rachel said, "You're lucky to have this job with your limited skills." March 1, 3:12 p.m., Rachel shouted, "You're an unqualified mess," in front of 20 colleagues. I included screenshots, call logs, even a coworker's email corroborating her behavior. At 11:47 p.m., I hit send, to Brian, HR, leadership, and Rachel's director, Karen. My hands trembled, not from fear but from the weight of finally speaking. Responses came fast. "Brian, I'm so sorry, Lisa. This is being escalated." HR, "We're scheduling a meeting." Karen, "Thank you for bringing this to our attention." Silence from Rachel. I packed my desk the next day, leaving with a cardboard box and a strange calm. I'd walked away, but I wasn't gone. Something was brewing, something Rachel wouldn't see coming. The first morning post-resignation, I sat with coffee, my inbox empty. Freedom felt like a luxury, but panic loomed. No income, no safety net. I applied to jobs relentlessly, 5 a day, tailoring resumes, writing cover letters. Silence. Then, a LinkedIn notification: David Montgomery has joined Arent Tech as Chief Strategy Officer. David, my old colleague from Stratix, who'd once pulled me onto a high-visibility project that earned my first promotion. We'd stayed loosely connected, likes, occasional messages. On impulse, I messaged him, "Congrats, David. Hope Arent treats you well. I was there recently, happy to share insights." 20 minutes later, he called. "Lisa, it's been forever," he said, voice warm. We talked for 30 minutes, light at first, then honest. I shared Arent's culture shift, the turnover, the leadership issues, without naming Rachel. He listened, asked sharp questions. "You've got ideas," he said. "I'm hiring a chief of staff to rebuild strategy. Would you consider coming back, reporting to me?" I froze. "Back to Arent? You'd be 2 levels above whoever made your life hell," he added. "You drive change, not survive it." I asked for a day. By morning, the offer landed: Director of Strategic Operations, double my previous salary, full remote flexibility, equity. I accepted, heart racing. This wasn't just a job, it was a chance to rewrite my story. 3 weeks after leaving Arent Tech, I walked back through its glass doors, this time to the executive wing. David and I agreed to keep my return quiet until the all-hands strategy meeting, giving me time to onboard discreetly. I reviewed org charts, process logs, and internal communications, reconnecting with old contacts. The data confirmed what I'd felt: Arent was hemorrhaging talent, morale tanking, with Rachel's name tied to half the exit interviews. I worked from a corner office, my new title, Director of Strategic Operations, still sinking in. The announcement day arrived. I stood at the back of the packed conference room, heart steady but pulse quick. David took the stage, his grin wide. "Before we dive into updates, I'm thrilled to introduce someone who'll reshape how we operate. Lisa Grant, our new Director of Strategic Operations, brings a decade of cross-functional expertise. Some of you know her." Silence fell, heavy and electric. Heads turned, scanning. Rachel, seated near the front, froze. Her eyes found me, and her face shifted: confusion, disbelief, then a flash of panic. She blinked, looked away, her hands gripping her tablet. I stood tall, calm, smiling faintly. This wasn't just a return, it was a reckoning. The room buzzed as people whispered, some recognizing me, others piecing it together. Rachel didn't clap, didn't move. Her silence screamed louder than her outbursts ever had. I didn't approach her. My presence was enough, a quiet power she couldn't dodge. After the meeting, colleagues approached, some curious, some congratulatory. Jenna, a former analyst who'd left under Rachel, texted, "You're back? As director? Legend." I laughed, but my focus stayed sharp. Rachel's panic was a signal, she'd strike back. I was ready. That evening, David called me in. "You saw her face," he said, half smiling. "She's rattled." I nodded. "She'll try something." He leaned back. "Let her. HR has your file. She's on thin ice." I left his office, the skyline glowing outside. This wasn't about revenge, it was about reclaiming my space, my voice, my worth. Rachel had underestimated me, and that was her first mistake. Rachel didn't wait long to strike. 3 days post-announcement, David shared an email she'd sent him: "I'm concerned about Lisa's presence. She undermined my authority and left on difficult terms. She's not suited for a director role." I read it, jaw tight. "She forgot we keep records," I said. David slid my resignation letter across his desk, the harassment file attached. "She didn't forget. She thought it wouldn't matter." He'd already forwarded it to HR. Wednesday, Rachel escalated, emailing David and the chief people officer, "Claire, Lisa is targeting me, speaking negatively about my leadership. I request an investigation." It was absurd, I'd barely spoken to anyone outside my team. David forwarded it with a note, HR knows the context. No action needed. But Rachel wasn't done. Friday's leadership roundtable was her stage. We were discussing a product pipeline delay, a mess from her team's lack of collaboration. I outlined the issue tactfully. Rachel cut in, smiling thinly, maybe you're not used to this complexity, Lisa. It's different from administrative work. The room stilled. 4 VPs watched. I didn't flinch. I agree, Rachel. Collaboration is key. That's why I've interviewed your former staff. They felt silenced under your management. I'll share the findings. Her smile vanished. David stepped in, compile that report, Lisa. Rachel, we'll follow up. Her hands clasped tightly, her face pale. She'd aimed to diminish me and exposed herself instead. The next week, I met Jenna for coffee. She leaned in, voice low. Rachel told people you were fired, that she had to clean house. She's not well, Lisa. I exhaled, unsurprised. I began documenting every complaint, every story of Rachel's overreach, from late-night calls to retaliatory reassignments. David didn't say build a case, but his nods told me enough. Then, Rachel's final misstep, the company newsletter featured me, Lisa Grant, Director of Strategic Operations, known for integrity and excellence. She emailed the CEO, Lisa manipulated the spotlight. She's unqualified and was managed out. This undermines credibility. HR responded, not the CEO. 2 days later, Rachel was on administrative leave, no explanation given. I found a sticky note on my door, her handwriting shaky. I hope this was worth it. No signature, just spite. I kept it, filed with the rest. 1 year after my return, I sat in my glass-walled office, skyline stretching beyond. A resume lay on my desk, the candidate's cover letter citing my summit talk. Your story gave me courage. I smiled, the weight of the past year settling into something new, purpose. Rachel was gone, her influence erased, but her shadow had taught me something. Resilience isn't just surviving, it's building something better. Erent thrived. The culture policy I helped craft became a model, with quarterly workshops training leaders to spot toxicity early. Turnover dropped, morale soared. Former colleagues who'd left under Rachel returned, their emails thanking me for clearing the path. David promoted me to Vice President of Strategic Operations, a role I hadn't dared imagine. You didn't just fix a problem, he said. You changed how we lead. At home, Tom and I rebuilt, too. His job stabilized, and our savings grew. We splurged on a weekend getaway, laughing over wine like we hadn't in years. But the real victory was quieter. I stopped flinching at notifications, stopped hearing Rachel's voice in my doubts. I'd found my power, not in silencing her but in amplifying myself. I spoke at another summit, this time mentoring young professionals. Don't wait for permission, I told them. Document, speak, stand. Your truth is your strength. Afterward, a man shared his story of surviving a toxic boss, inspired by mine. I realized then, my story wasn't just mine anymore. It was a spark for others. Rachel faded into irrelevance, a footnote in Arendt's history. I didn't need her apology, I had my legacy. Share your story below. Have you faced a Rachel? How did you find your voice? Let's talk about building strength from scars.